Hi, the other day I was working in the park and I found a bench and went and sat on the bench. I noticed someone doing some fishing just across from where I was sitting. And then, I just sat down, put on my laptop to start working, and I noticed, I kind of sensed that he turned uh, towards me and he was looking at me. So I kind of looked from the corner of my eye and then I just kind of turned back to my work. And then after a second or two, I just hear him start swearing and cursing and just continuously swearing and getting really angry and agitated and then he started packing his stuff, and I could hear like he was kind of being very um, I could see him cursing and even saying violent words like, if you do that, you get stabbed around here. Go back to your own country or something like that. Something, along those lines. And then he kind of walked away, and but he kind of lurked around for a while, and I started kind of feeling, okay, maybe it's because I came here, which probably was. Uh, and then I kind of got up to leave, and then he's like, "Are you happy now? Are you happy now?" Anyway, I didn't confront him. I didn't have a conversation with him, but I just noticed he just got really agitated and angry, and basically left after cursing and saying some violent words, which were pretty much, from my understanding, directed at me. And I kind of wondered what happened. So I sat down and started kind of observing around my environment. I first noticed that there was a kind of a small tin, which was fish bait. I was like, okay, he had put it actually on the other side of the bench, so he had kind of claimed that area for his fishing. And I came and intruded that environment. I came and sat there without even kind of acknowledging him, without even saying hello. I just sat there and started working without even observing the environment and noticing that he's actually put his stuff there on the other side. And that is what happened. He felt intruded, disrespected, and because he felt that way, he started to basically reflect how he felt onto me. In some way, indirectly. I mean, he didn't walk up to me and start swearing at me directly, but he mumbled just and walked away with a sense of agitation, anger, and I could even say rage. So the reason I want to share this story with you is a typical person who might go there and might not see that, be oblivious to exactly what the cause of that rage was, may kind of see that person as an abusive or even evil person, bad person, whatever it is. Some level of judgment will arise without really being aware of what caused that reaction. An aware person, a person who is seeking truth and wisdom, will come and really observe the situation, take responsibility, and recognize what happened, what truly happened. So instead of labeling that person as abusive, racist, or whatever it is, it's just really understanding it, and just noticing. It's not about good or bad, right or wrong. I'm not condoning that kind of behavior, of course. You may say it's inappropriate, and it is inappropriate for people to just kind of lose it and start swearing in public, right? But I want you to really understand the cause of whatever phenomena, whatever experience you have. You really need to go down deep and understand the cause before we can actually address it and do something about it. Now, in my case, realizing that I did not pay attention to my environment, I did not pay attention to that person, I started reflecting on that for a good period of time. I sat just contemplated on the situation. I realized when I came to that area, first of all, I could have just said hello, how's your day, acknowledge the presence of that person, right? Make them feel seen. So that I failed to do that. The second thing I didn't do, is actually look around my environment and realize actually he's placed his stuff there, and he's kind of claimed that area. That he's in that area, and he wants to use that bench to bring his stuff and sit there. And there were other benches I could have used. I mean, I looked for a bench which had the most amount of shadow, so that I can, I'm not in the sun, and I regularly sit there to work. It was kind of at the area or the bench I normally go to work at. But it's a public area, and situations change, and one needs to observe the environment more closely. So taking responsibility for that means that next time I come to a similar situation, I will greet the person, acknowledge the person, smile at them, instead of kind of sitting and then looking at them from the corner of my eye without really acknowledging, and not really being observing the environment to seeing if they put their things there already. And so this is my part. And for his part, he may also, if he has the capacity to reflect and recognize perhaps he overreacted, but not everyone has that capacity, and recognizing that and being aware that our level of awareness, our level of consciousness is not necessarily reflected in others, and we need to respect and acknowledge the fact that we all have different levels of consciousness and level of presence, and it doesn't make one better than the other. This is very important. If you are increasing your awareness, if you're increasing your consciousness, do not feel superior to someone else whose consciousness may not be at the same level, and do not feel inferior to someone else whose consciousness is higher than yours. This is really important, is to acknowledge that we're all at different levels, and we're all growing together on the path of evolution. The evolutionary path is not just biological, it's also on the level of consciousness. So be aware of that. And that is what I wanted to share with you in this video, and I hope it resonated with you, and I hope that it brings a sense of awareness for you to acknowledge people around you, to be more aware of your environment, and to take responsibility when someone reacts in a certain way. Now, sometimes it's maybe hard for people to swallow or feel uncomfortable for what I'm saying here, because it's easier to blame others, and it's easier to point fingers at other people and situations outside of you. But there's always something we can do to make things better, and being responsible for that empowers us to make a difference in the world in a positive way. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.